Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Yes, I'm back today with another one to bring you an update on PPP because yesterday was such an exciting day in the Senate. And I know I announced this yesterday and this morning because I was so excited, I just could not hide it. That's me quoting Nancy Pelosi, quoting the Pointer Sisters, okay? Just pointing that out. Find out what happened yesterday in the Senate, okay? Big news as the PPP deadline is being extended, okay? We're going to dive straight into PPP on this episode. Let's get you caught up on stimulus. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Edward Bilder. To all my loyal subscribers out there, welcome back for another video. And if you're joining us for the first time today, welcome. Consider becoming a subscriber. I'm diving straight into PPP as the Senate passed yesterday the extension. Fantastic. I was really excited yesterday. I couldn't wait to get the video out, okay? So delivered it yesterday, and now I'm going to tell you what your next steps are, okay? Because there's a lot of things you could do. Get out there and apply, get out there and change and amend some things for yourselves. There is time now, okay? There's definitely time. It's about 65 days left here, okay? So it passed in the Senate yesterday, and it still needs to get signed by President Biden. I think that's going to be a piece of cake. It's probably going to be like a piece of New York style cheesecake, okay? This is going to go cross his desk so quick he's going to sign it and just move on, all right? He's already came out to say that the White House supports the Paycheck Protection Program extension, okay? So let's find out what happened in the Senate yesterday. This came down to a 92-7 vote. Now, they only needed 60 votes, okay? Just needed 60 votes. But there were two amendments that were proposed. And I'm hearing one. I missed the whole thing yesterday, but I'm hearing one of them was hashtag retro PPP. One of my viewers reached out and said they watched the whole thing and that it was retro PPP to go back and amend for Schedule C filers from net to gross. Now, that's a good move, okay? That the Senate is talking about it, okay? We need congressmen and women to talk about this, to let everybody know that, hey, there has to be a change here. Something has to happen, all right? Now, the other priority that came up was to prioritize, the other amendment was to prioritize who and what gets to apply through this round, okay? And I think that's great, all right? Don't get me wrong. I think that's great, but it really muddies up the water here a little bit, okay? Because as soon as they start prioritizing, then the words targeted come out, and we know what happens when the word targeted comes out. That's when people get excluded, okay? And in reality, if you're going to prioritize, it's like, what are you really prioritizing? 75% of all of the applicants right now are requesting less than $50,000. That's the majority of sole proprietors out there. Gig workers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, Schedule C filers. If they have this small business and you file a Schedule C, you know who I'm talking about, okay? That is you, okay? So really, you're prioritizing the mass that's already the priority, all right? So I don't know that prioritizing this was a good suggestion, okay? Now, this also would have muddied up the waters in the sense that if they tried to pass these amendments, it would have had to go back to the House. The House went on recess today. They're gone. They're going to be gone for April. And that deadline, the original deadline, is next Wednesday. So there's no way. There's no way they could have got this done by having it go back to the House, go through an amendment process again, go through a new vote, and then back over to the Senate and repeat that cycle all over again. There would have been a delay and a gap between March 31st and the time in which the program turned back on. Okay, so I'm glad that they didn't do the amendments on this one, but that doesn't mean we don't want to see something in the future, because we do definitely need to see hashtag retro PPP. Okay, we're going to talk about that here coming up in just a short moment. I want to talk about what was inside the bill. It was very simple. Okay, there's like this body of text about this big. Strike one date and replace it with another date. Now, don't get confused, because if you go and read the bill yourself, it strikes out March 31st and replaces it with June 30th. But that is not the last day to apply. The last day to apply is May 31st, because if you read the second section of it, it says from June 1st on to June 30th. That's just for processing behind the scenes at the SBA, okay? You know, in the past, the way this worked, if the deadline came, everything stopped, right? So people used to have to apply days in advance, weeks in advance, to make sure their application was in plenty of time to go through the whole review process at the SBA, because on that last day, it was a stop all. Nothing processed past that last day. And it left a lot of people hanging out there in limbo who were, had the application in plenty of time, but because of some delay of mass volume, it just didn't get done. So this now allows the SBA to take 30 days after May 31st. That is the cutoff for the application process. Anything after that, they're going to process it behind the scenes to keep the funds flowing to all the applicants. So if you had your, May 31st, boom, get your application in by then. Don't even wait that long. Go out there now, okay? I don't know what you're waiting for. Go out there right now, because it still takes like 3 to 4 weeks to get this whole thing done, all right? Last year, you could have done this in like 3 days. Not the case this year, okay? Definitely not the case this year. I know last year applications literally took 3 days and money showed up. That's not the case anymore, okay? It is now 3 to 4 week processing time through the SBA, okay? So let's get over to some of the next steps, because there are things that you could do right now to get on the ball and change and amend some things that may affect you. So let's get into that. Wow, so there's a lot of money flowing out there, okay? This is going to expand this program for a lot of new applicants, all right? Ben Cardin came out to announce that he believes there's approximately $550 billion sitting in this fund. So that's a lot of money, right? If you kind of recall, there was money left over from last year when the program shut down the first time, and now they sent new money towards it, and he believes it's $550 billion. That's pretty awesome, all right? So get out there and get you some of this stimulus money, okay? This is free money, no credit checks. It's an absolutely fantastic program, and it can be forgiven. You don't have to pay this back, all right? It turns into like practically free money, like a grant, all right? So with all this money coming, it may be a good time to change your futures. Get out there and start investing. You can check out right now in the description. Webull wants to give you 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 each after you deposit $100 into the platform. Or get out there and start a business. I'm constantly looking for new partners and investors in my B&Bs and short-term rentals. You can find me on Instagram in the description if you'd like to talk more about that. Okay, what are your next steps? What are your next steps? Because this is going to be signed by President Biden, possibly today, possibly on Monday. Who knows, right? He likes to make these big to-dos out of these things. So maybe it's tonight. He's going to have a big presentation of this. I don't know. All right, we're going to track it here. We're going to get you informed as soon as he signs it. I'm still thinking about that cheesecake. Man, New York style cheesecake. All right, sorry. Your next steps, all right? If you have not yet applied, don't wait any longer. Get out there and apply. Remember, there are 2 forms. Schedule C filers. Very important for you to listen to this. There are 2 forms. One is for net, and the other form is for gross, okay? And you don't want to mistake them, right? You're going to need to know which form you're using, because not every bank has adjusted from net to gross yet. And if you accidentally use net, it's the small number. All right, it's just going to say go to line 31. You're going to go to line 31 and put the number there. All right, or it's going to say go to line 7. You're going to go to line 7. You're going to put the number there. Okay, don't make the mistake yourself. 2 forms. One is a much bigger value than the other. Okay, so don't make that mistake. So the next thing you should consider is if you have already applied and you applied under net. All right, you may not have the time to go and retract it. All right, depending on how far along it is in the process, you can retract it and get it into a new lender that is using gross, right? Some lenders may not allow it. Some lenders may do it over a phone call. You might be able to call them and say, hey, change me from net to gross. And some lenders, might have to reach into the SBA and reverse the E-Tran number in order to get this done, all right? They have to actually do a physical action with the SBA to reverse an E-Tran, because you can't have 2 loans come through, and that E-Tran prevents that second loan from coming over, blocks all the rest of them, and basically says, delete, okay? So you can't have 2 loans on file once the E-Tran is assigned, all right? And you're going to want gross, okay? So make that consideration. Think to yourself, calculate the value of the gross versus the net, and ask yourself if you want to take the risk of retracting and applying again, all right? It may take about a week to 2 weeks to retract, so don't wait and hesitate, because this timeline is going to burn quickly, okay? It will get to a point where you're not going to be able to do this, so don't wait, all right? There's going to come a time in about 4 weeks where I'm going to say, no, do not retract, all right? But today, it may be possible still, all right? So consider that. Consider that for a moment. So I've been a PPP supporter here for a very long time, do a lot of research on this program. So if you like all the research that I'm doing here, tap the like button. Show some appreciation to the channel. Help YouTube spread this to more and more people. Every time you touch the like button, it recommends it to more and more people. You can also share me on your Facebook and Twitter. And of course, I have other videos on building wealth strategies through passive income, royalties, the stock market, and real estate. You could check those out by hitting the notification button and get notified to when these videos come out. Okay, everybody, hashtag RetroPPP. Hashtag RetroPPP is for everybody who is a Schedule C filer, received either Draw 1 or Draw 2, and you applied with net and you got your funds, right? You have your money sitting in your bank, but it's a much smaller amount than all the new Schedule C filers that applied from March 3rd on. Okay, March 3rd on, they were allowed to use their gross. That's the big number at the top, not the little number at the bottom. So that multiplier, it's a big difference. It is a big difference. I have comments on my channel constantly. $16,000 difference, $10,000 difference, $15,000 difference, $12,000 difference, okay? From if they use their net versus their gross. Totally different, right? Big difference in value, right? And so I don't want you to be mistaken. We're going to need congressmen and women to get this changed for us, okay? Because right now the SBA is saying you can't, as a Schedule C filer, go and change this. Now, they allowed it to happen with Schedule F filers. There was two things that allowed it. If you had filed for forgiveness already from draw number 1, you were not allowed to change this, okay? And if you got your draw number 2 funding, you were not allowed to change this. All right, Schedule F filers have been reporting here on the channel that they were not allowed to change it after they got draw number 2. And the way they were allowed to change it is they simply just went back into their draw 1 application and reapplied for the balance of the funds. Simple, right? Cut and dry. Just resubmit a new application, draw 1, give me the rest of the money between net and gross, and that was it. All right, so if you filed for forgiveness on draw 1, it was over with. You couldn't apply again. And if you got draw 2 and you received your funds, it was over with. You couldn't apply again, okay? Hashtag retro PPP. We're going to need people like Ben Cardin in the Senate to get on top of this, to make sure that our voice is heard, so that when this comes around again and there's like a new bill, infrastructure bill possibly, that we have this included, okay? This has to be included. Now, I know we talked about possibly having it in this last short bill, but honestly, this is going to take a lot more support. So it's going to require a lot of voices. Hashtag retro PPP. Now, with the extension of the time, we may find ourselves to be a bit lucky here, right? Having this extra 60 or so days, that the SBA may change their position, all right? Isabella Guzman may change that position to say, yeah, okay, she's doing things. She's increasing the caps on EIDL loans up to $500,000, right? So she is doing things in the right direction. She may remove that restriction, all right? I'm really hoping I see it. Really hoping it's possible that she's going to allow Schedule C filers to go back in and get this done. But it's now the fact comes down to, if you got your draw 2, and there's millions of you out there got draw 2 still on net, something's got to be changed about that to go back and retroactively change the original draw number 1. All right, so hashtag retro PPP, everybody. Alert senators like Ben Cardin to help us get this movement going. Remember, leaving a comment enrolls you into my next giveaway, because when I hit 20,000 subscribers here in the next few days, I am giving away $500. Okay, to be eligible, all you got to do is put a comment, be a subscriber, check out all my videos, just drop a comment in there and be a subscriber. I'm picking a random comment and giving away $500 when I hit 20,000 subscribers. I did this at 10,000, helped out a family in need. It was randomly chosen, and boy, they were super grateful. Really appreciated it. So I'm going to do it again. I'm really excited. I can't wait, all right? If you need help figuring out what to tell us, let us know where you are in the PPP process, draw 1, draw 2, where you applied, and if you were able to use gross instead of net, so we can help others, direct them in the right direction to the right lenders, all right? If you need further assistance outside of this, you could catch me for a one-on-one consultation pinned in the top comment. I thank you all again, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.